shit for life. That want that shit for life.
Sound is just authentic. It's just dirty, grimy. It's like back then you didn't have a lot of technology where you could make music where it sounds good now because of digital. We was doing analog stuff and everything. So sometimes when you hear a track, it's raw, but then you hear that hiss in it. Sound is just authentic. It's just dirty, grimy. It's like back then you didn't have a lot of technology where you can make music where it sounds good now because of digital.
see how the hustle go. You know he caught up by his bros though. He's just another person, another victim, another one that's caught up in the room. We eating good over here. We eating good over here. You gotta see how the hustle go. You know he caught up by his bros though. He's just another person, another victim, another one that's caught up in the road. You gotta see how the hustle go. You know he caught up by his bros though. He's just another person, another victim, another one that's caught up in the flip it. Drop this. No, I'm Gucci, trust me. We eating good over here. Eating good, eating drop this. No, I'm Gucci, trust me. We eating good over here. Eating good, eating drop this. We eating good over here. We eating good over here. You gotta see how the hustle go. You know he caught up by his bros though. He's just another person, another victim, another one that's caught up in the road. You gotta see how the hustle go. Go, go, go. You know he caught up by his bros though. Go, 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 go. He's just another person, another victim, another one that's caught up in the room. Drop this. No, I'm Gucci, trust me. We eating good over here. Eating good, eating drop this. No, I'm Gucci, trust me. We eating good over here. Eating good, eating drop this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural Season 0 draft of the Gaming Tavern. Thank you, everyone, for waiting around. Sorry for the delays. It's not in our control, and it's not even in the captain's control, but it's all good here. I am joined here by my beautiful co-host and potential draftee, Beesit.
Oh, you called me beautiful.
I did.
Thanks for introducing me. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited for draft, man. This is my favorite time of the year. I love picking teams. Love seeing where these players go, making new friends. It's just great. Great time.
For 100%, and just gonna kind of start going from the top. We have to kind of go over how we decided this pick order, of course, because you can see on the screen there, we've got that pick order going on, starting with the Tomahawk Mishaps, and going into Endless Noid, Captains Morgan's Lads, and then last, and certainly not least, Subway Pizza Rats. And there is something specific about this draft that's maybe unique to a lot of more traditional drafts around there. What's that, Beeson?
We're doing snake draft. So if you've ever played fantasy apps before, they always do snake draft in order to allow equal opportunity for each pick being the first. They always do snake valuable, last pick being the least valuable. It allows them to pick twice in a row at the end and then twice in a row at the beginning. It's just the optimal way to draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, it helps a lot too. And another thing, just kind of about our salary system that we decided. I know there are some people maybe who weren't a fan of it, maybe wanted an uncapped league, but here we decided on taking the... you made the system, so you can actually explain it a lot better than me.
Yeah. The salary system has been put in place in order to determine the order in which people can get, or not the order, but the way people can get picked. The ultimate goal is each team's salary has to equal 0. So basing on if you're a high rank, you're worth more than 0. If you're a lower rank, you're worth less than 0. And the ultimate way is to try to include everybody in there. So we have some higher elo players and some lower elo players to allow everybody to get slightly better and creates a more even and more enjoyable experience for all, is what I see.
Yeah, and I feel like when we take a look, I know I don't have the ability to pull it up. Actually, if I get a second, I could do... No, I can't do that. I can't pull up the list that we have. Oh my god. Okay, nice. But I feel like we've got a good set of people here today. Maybe looking at each team's running down. Is there any sort of position that you see in the draft that's maybe like super high in demand or not at all?
I think support players are big. A good support player can impact the game a lot. So I'm looking forward to those dynamic duos in the bot lane with shot calling support, or even just a shot calling AD carry with the support that can kind of run the map. I feel like those two together especially create a lot of impact around the rest of the game.
Yeah, support in demand. And if you do take a look at the list, we do have a lot of mid laners, I believe, in the draft, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not necessarily something that you don't want to lock down, because I feel like that's a pretty important position as well.
Yeah, mid lane can be of vital importance to a team. It allows a lot of extra roaming, a lot of extra damage dealers. They can fill a lot of niche roles that many other lanes can't really fill. So it allows a lot of extra utility in drafts.
Yeah, and you mentioned talking about the draft order specifically, who your salary system and so on, but honestly, I think something that's in pretty demand is also just lower salary, negative salary players. Not necessarily like negative salary is bad. You're in high demand, I feel like, when you take a look at our draft. We have so many zeros, so many 0.5s. You have to end out at 0. So locking down your negative player, I feel like, is going to be a big thing that we're going to see a lot of teams looking at.
Yeah, those negative players become quite valuable in these drafts to even out with your higher elo players. You can't just have an entire team of higher elo players. So these negative players, high demand, look to see them go early in the draft. Maybe not round 1, but I'm thinking round 2 might be all these nice, low-costed, high-value players.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think about anything else we really have left to cover. Is there any sort of high value player that you see going first overall, maybe looking back to some of the in-houses that we watched, maybe even digging around on a couple of PGGs, is there anything that you have in mind as terms of like maybe a top pick or someone that maybe you think should go top that couldn't, that just might not?
Well, the top pick, in my opinion, no surprise, Nitros. That guy is just literally faker. Sometimes he will solo carry games over and over and over. I've seen it firsthand. He carries most of my games I play with him. You can't go wrong with him. But I think there are a few sleepers down here at the support role, especially Major Crockett, quite a valuable player, negative role player as well. I think he's played really well in the games that I've seen him play. So I'm optimistic that he'll step up his game when playing for even other teams. He's known to play with Nitros, so we'll see if he can play at that level without him. But I'm excited to see both of those two players. I think they're one of our top players and then one of our more sleeper picks, to say.
And I think another pick that might, I feel like he's going to get drafted. The reason I mentioned mid laners is one of my favorite mid laners in this stack is actually Zeldratus. Zeldratus and Jestrology, I think, are two players that we're going to be seeing some teams fight over just because of how valuable and how flexible they are. You got Jestrology, who's able to play both jungle and mid lane and has a very traditional and very utilitarian champ pool with the Azir and Ahri, but as well as another top champion. They have a Zed, and we see them play super aggressive in lanes if you've been watching any of the in-houses. And Zeldratus is just drastically improved season on season on season, and I think just give him another 3 months in an organized team, and I feel like he's going to carry.
Oh yeah, these players that can play multiple roles, fill multiple positions in their main role even, are going to be so incredibly valuable to build around. And I think being able to be a setup piece and a carry is something that many players just can't do. So players like Zeldras that can do both are very, very good to have on your team.
Yeah, and you talked about locking down our supports. We do have 3 supports who logged in as being a support main in the document. If you're wondering, hey, I don't think I signed up for that. The signups were a while ago. It's okay, you can come in here and watch, but you and me have a document here that can talk about the different players. So I think it's the smallest pool and it's the most important pool. So I'd like to talk a little bit more. We talked about Crockett being like this very high value player. He's -4 in the draft and has really good synergy with Nitros and generally a lot of other stronger AD carries and players in the league. But I think someone that maybe went a little bit more unnoticed is actually Paladin Logan. Just throughout playing, I got to play against him last night, and he was really solid, honestly. I found a lot of success in his picks, and I think he's going to be... he's 100% going to go in the draft because he's one of the support mains, and we only have 4 teams, only 3 support mains. But I think whichever team picks him up is going to be very happy with that pick.
Yeah, I've played 1 or 2 games against him, not many in lane particularly, but every time I see him, his roams are fairly good. His laning is actually quite well compared to what I think of most support players. Their laning seems to be a bigger issue, but they're better at roaming. But he's like almost like a dominant laner in the games that we played. So I'm very excited to see Paladin Logan play along with Major Crockett without pride. Those guys are just high value support players that can do what they need to do. I think it's going to be an important role to get your hands on one of those players.
And we are going to very shortly here get into the next pick in the first pick in a draft. You know, a first overall pick is always super duper important. Just making sure that maybe you lock down, maybe you're gonna decide your entire team. And I mentioned earlier, you can see there Tomahawk Mishaps being our first champion, and I'm gonna put them on the clock. Honestly, it's been a long enough. We've stalled long enough. We've sat here. We've listened to some banger tunes. So just going to be kind of forcing the issue, to be honest. So waiting on that. Who you mentioned some of the other picks. You mentioned Nithros, of course, and with the first pick in, I don't have the music queued up. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna take me a second there, but I didn't plan for this. I can't find his name. Oh my god, I'm so bad. I'm so bad at this. I should have had this queued up because I mean, it's no surprise to anyone who's been here. First overall pick by the Tomahawk Mishaps is Nithros.
Yeah, not a real big surprise. That guy, literally Faker, as I call him. We've been calling him for years like this. He carries every game, winner of multiple championships in other leagues that we played in. He's just that guy. If anybody can be him, he's him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and he's so consistent. He's so strong. He can make almost any support, main or not, look so good in lane and just feel very comfortable. You have this very reliable carry in the role as always, and it feels great to have on your team. It's so easy to build around. That's your cue. I need you to fill while I dig around for stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're just waiting for Endless Noise to make their final pick decisions. They are on the clock.
Nope.
Yeah, they are.
Is it Endless Noise second?
Yeah.
Is it?
According to the according to
the guy who said no. Yeah, we're professionals at this, by the way. We go find the message because we don't. Yeah, it's Captain Morgan's Lads. I knew it. I knew what I was doing there. And we have a couple extra seconds here while the pick is in for Captain's Morgan's Lads, being the team ran by Blue Mare or Boo I'm Satan, depending on how you know them as. Is the second overall on the pick. Is there anything that you have in mind for that second overall pick? Because Nithros is off the table, obviously.
Look to take a jungler here, I think, is key. They got some high value junglers that I think could dictate a team's pace and allow them to carry games.
Yeah, and jungle is going to be pretty important. We have quite a few really good junglers around. You've got Kid Buu being your 3-point, which means you're going to have to go to a little bit. You're going to have to find a good negative player pretty early on, too, because I feel like we have a lot of high-value ones. And then you've got the two others being Fel and Mothra. And just reminder that Endless Noid is on the clock. Pick is in for Captain's Morgan's Lads. And with that second overall pick, as that's going to change into, there is Kid Buu 20, or just Kid Buu, as you know him and love him. A jungler, just as you expected.
Yes, junglers. Very important to have on your team. I think they can dictate the whole pace of the game, as I said. They kind of are like a glue guy, a lot of teams. They can kind of fill in any role they need. I think he's definitely one of the top tier junglers. He has some very unique picks, some staple picks in his Gwen, his Lilia staples, but he's been known to throw around the Galio in the jungle. Can't say I'm a fan, but it has good success in games, so I'm quite happy with it.
And as you said, a glue guy. And do you think another jungler, because with the pick being in for Endless Noid and the Subway Pizza Rats being on the clock here, do you think another jungler is going to be going, or do you think there's something else that that Endless Noid could be looking at for a priority pick?
The mid lane pool still huge with all the players. Could be potentially a mid laner here. Could be another jungler. I'm thinking probably a mid laner if I had to guess, but we'll have to wait and see what it is.
And with the third overall pick of the Season 0 draft, while I try and find his damn name on this list because I have way too many names here, the third overall pick is going to be Zabel for the Endless Noid. So not yet Season 0, I know, and phenomenal jungler. He's been performing really well in in-house, as you can see him at the very top of the leaderboards, constantly queuing up and a major grinder. So I think it's a very good to kind of double back onto your glue guy.
Yeah, every time I play games with this guy, he's on a carry. Darius he doesn't play any Zinzao, but I've been known to be able to convince him maybe. But his Jarvan is Karthus, he's known as a farmer sometimes. Lilia, anything, this guy plays everything. He's got it all figured out. He knows how to dictate the games. Very vocal. It's nice to have in the jungle.
It's nice to have a pretty strong glue guy in the jungle, and the pick is in on the Subway Pizza Rats with the fourth overall. But just a quick little second on to Zabel. Yes, the glue guy, he's very opinionated, very headstrong, and I think he's going to, even though it's maybe not the 3-cost player that you're looking to maybe run your team around, I think he can still do it just as well. And what is the fourth pick, B-Sin?
Ooh, the fourth pick is a spice one. One of the guys I talked about actually. It's 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 that glue guy. That guy I was talking about in the support role. Major Crockett getting picked in the first round, fourth pick. An absolute diamond in the rough in games that I've played with him. Small sample size in games that I've played, but I can't hear enough good things about this guy. Every person I talk to says he's great at what he does. He's got an excellent Nautilus. He's just that guy that can bring vibes up too, and it's a great pick, honestly. Great pick for me.
Yeah, and he does a great job kind of with what he's given. I, of course, think there is room to improve as a support myself, constantly looking for improvement, but I think he's a very good option. You lock down a very strong negative player. You split up that Nithros Crockett lane from Timberland and the Tomahawk Mishaps. So now Timberland might be scrambling a little bit, trying to find some sort of player, but fifth pick, it's a snake draft, which means the next pick still going to Tomahawk Mishaps is going to be Dingus Slayer, actually. So both negative players for the Tomahawk Mishaps.
Yeah, an interesting draft strategy. I know in some of the rumors I was hearing beforehand that this could be a possibility. We could go double negative at the beginning to try to get the Subway Pizza Rats a good foundation to build on. Now they get an opportunity to pick a bunch of high elo players to fill in their roles. They have picked around a strategy. We'll see if it works out for them. I'm optimistic that I think this is a good strategy, but we will wait and see.
You find this to be a pretty good strategy to lock down these negative players, but hey, you look to the rest of the teams. Most of them have positives, and moving on to pick sixth in the draft. Endless Noid, they've got a lot of holes to fill. Is there any player you're still looking at, like maybe an adjustment to the strategy now that these two negative players are gone?
Yeah, there is a top laner, goes by the name of Fluffy, that is a negative player, and I think is the absolute steal right here. This guy is incredible. He's grinds the game. He's just out here putting in that work. And I think a negative player that puts in work is such a valuable pick to have.
And I mean, pick is in through and through, and you talked about a player who's willing to grind and a player who's been doing as best as they can, and Hamilcar is actually going to be going here for Endless Noid, so them locking down another negative player going in the draft, a high value one if you've ever been around some leagues. I've actually had the pleasure of working with him myself, and Hamilcar is awesome, and I think him paired up with Zabel is going to be an interesting duo to work with, because you now have two pretty low cost and negative actually, but two low cost players who are ready and willing to work and strong at their role.
Yeah, he's been quite a good player in the games we've played together. He's having quite a lot of success. Him and Sable should work well together. Sable being very vocal and allowing them to dictate where we're going, I think will help Hamilcar. And I heard his Jinx quite good, so I'm looking forward to that pick maybe being banned when they play versus him, because he just demands respect on that pick.
Yeah, it might be better than yours. I'm kidding.
Everybody's better than me at Jinx. I'm not going to get in there.
But I also like the Hamilcar pickup because he's very good at being this low resource carry. In the bot lane, he loves being in those 1v1s with a roaming support, so that does kind of give Endless Noid a pretty obvious way to win the game and to pile the game. All they really need to do is just get support on the move, meet up with that jungler, but that also still means you got to lock down a support in the draft that's able and willing to do that. But still, Hamilcar super valuable, and on the clock still is the Captain Morgan's Lads. Reminder that they picked up, as we can head over to the screen a little bit, take a little breather, and just look a little bit more at what these teams have locked down so far. Of course, we just happened, but Captain Morgan's Lads, just with Kid Buu right now, is there anyone that on your mind that you think can go?
I think it's time. We saw one support go. I think it's time for another support to go here. I'm really looking at, without pride here, to really knock off that cost from Kid Buu, allow him to get a negative, gets him a good pick. But we'll see where they end up going with this. I'm optimistic in their opinion.
You're optimistic in their opinion, and fourth wall break. It's just pretty funny here. Seventh pick is in for the Captain Morgan's Lads, and with the seventh overall pick, you get to react to yourself. B-Sin is the seventh pick for the Captain Morgan's Lads.
Hey, that's me.
It is you. How you
Oh,
feel?
I'm excited.
You excited?
Excited. Yes. I honestly wasn't sure I was gonna get picked at all, so I'm pretty excited to get picked this early, especially. I bring a lot of utility. I can play every role, so I'm hoping that that's a valuable aspect I have. But we'll see. I'm just excited to get picked, honestly.
Excited to get picked, and fun to cast you, of course. It's going to be pretty fun to see that. And that's locking down a really strong mid jungle. If you're looking at Captain Morgan's lads, Kidboo been very, very consistent on the junglers. Yes, he's playing some weird stuff in there, but he's still doing really well on there. Now you're locking down a strong mid laner as well in the draft, and still not working on your negative points, though, is going to kind of get a little concerning moving down in the draft, because now you're Captain Morgan's lads, now you're Tomahawk Mishaps, and you're looking at, I still got 3 points, and 3 top tier negative players are already off the board.
Yeah, it's getting a little interesting. I have faith in my captain to pick great players for our team, so I got utmost faith in this. But yeah, we are running low on these negative players to counteract our big spender at the beginning. So I'm curious to see where we're gonna go with that.
Curious to see where we can go with that. And so far, not too. Actually, there's a little bit of spice, especially with that. Why can't I remember his team name? Subway Pizza Rats pick up. But with the 7th overall pick, a very flexible player, another flexible player actually getting picked up here by Tomahawk Mishaps is going to be TTEOD Fell. And let me get that number right. There we go.
Yeah, it's a very flexible player here. Very, very much guy who can do it all. And I love me some glue guys. They're my favorites. I like people that can do anything. Fel can literally do everything. I've seen him do every role in our game. He's a jungle main, I know, but I know he's been dabbling with the ADCs. He's great at support too. It's just, I don't know where he's gonna go in this lane. If he's support, is he jungle? Is he mid? Who knows? It's so exciting.
He's been playing support a lot recently, and actually AD carrying the solo queue, so you've got a lot of flexibility. Yes, you still got Nithros, but Nithros also still has that flexibility to work with, and I think I might have actually messed up. Did I mess up here? No, I didn't.
Fine.
Okay, I messed up the order specifically, but the players are still going to the right team. Thank God. Yep. And with the 9th pick in the draft, Tomahawk Mishaps on the Snake is going to lock it. Let me find him. Sorry, I'm doing this and I just have like a list of names to stare at. There we go. Pick 9 in the draft is going to be Spicy Potato for Tomahawk Mishaps.
Ooh, I can't say I'm very in tune with his game. I have not had the privilege to play with him, but I have heard from captain of Tomahawk Mishaps, Tim says he's quite valuable. He ranks him very highly, so I like to see that players that we rank highly get on your team. Gives me a lot of confidence in his team building skills that he can make sure his players feel included. And I've been told he can carry games. And honestly, with this roster, having a top lane carry, allowing Nitros to get some extra time by himself, I think is could be a real good plan for them looking forward.
Yeah, and with Captain Morgan's on the clock here, we can take another quick little look back at this page. Coming around on the Snake, we got a couple more of those left, of course, but now we're looking at these teams here. Captain Morgan's lads, pick is in, but just a quick second, is there anyone that you have in mind for Captain Morgan's? They do have to lock down a negative player, though, would be my only input.
Yeah, let's get a negative player here. Somebody that can really offset the kid boot costs, and then maybe we can look for some average high elo players next after that. But I really think this is like the moment we have to knock down a negative player in order for this draft to not have to scramble towards the end.
And scrambling is just so hard to deal. It's going to be so hard to deal with because a lot of these captains now have kind of it's dawned like, oh, we do need to kind of get that salary into check in. And what that means is, hey, 10th pick in the draft going to Captain Morgan's lads once again on the Snake back without Pride. Someone, honestly, I don't think I've seen him in houses, but taking a little bit of a look through OPGG, a history actually of performance all the way up in Platinum quite a few years ago.
Yeah, it's one of those players that may or may not have taken a break from the game. It's understandable, but if we were once that point, I have utmost confidence that he can get back to that sports. And again, once you're there, a lot of those you retain. Maybe mechanics maybe need a little rust, but I have high pressure of this guy. I have a lot of pride for him. But obviously, he's not very well known yet, but I'm looking at his OP.GG, look at some of the games he's played recently. I think he's got a lot of talent there. We just have to kind of figure out where it can go.
And I believe this puts Endless Noid on the clock. Let me check that. Yeah, Endless Noid on the clock with their 11th overall pick. Anyone in mind really to take out on this draft? Maybe some roles that you think Endless Noid is going to try and pick up?
We still haven't seen many mid laners here yet. That pool is big, but we're at the point where we're kind of there and there. I mean, I'm hoping that these next two picks we get a little bit of a run on mid laners, maybe some negative players maybe still here and there, but it's just a spicy pick. Everybody's got at least 1 to 2 negative players now that we can go any direction. I'm not sure exactly where we're gonna go, but I'm thinking it's time for mid laners to come off the board.
And the 11th overall pick in for Endless Noid, their 3rd round pick is going to be, let me do this and change that. And there we go. Boom, I did it in time. Jesterology for Endless Noid. So very strong mid jungle already picked up for them.
Oh yeah, we can see where we're playing in their games. You know, the PowerPoints of these two teams. That team right there is those two players are just, hopefully they mesh together. I don't know their personalities will, but if they can get it working, oh, that's a scary duo right there. One that even I'm scared for sure.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty flexible. They're going to have carry threat in almost any situation, and they're going to know exactly what to do. And I think it's going to help almost any team just succeed when you have two players, when you have a duo lane, like a mid jungle, like a top or support or a bot lane, just some group, some smaller skirmish that can just lead the team around. And to me, that kind of transfers into Subway Pizza Rats here. They have a lot of salary to play with right now. So any players that you feel negative like should go?
This has got to be a haymaker right here, I think. Just we double negative at the very beginning. I feel like this is the opportunity to really go out there and get it. We still have a lot of good players available. So I'm thinking this is a home run shot right here.
Home run shot indeed. And the 12th pick, because I forgot to change that text and I started it too long, is going to be Zaldratus. So the two mid laners that we talked about being these high value, high priority mid laners going in the 3rd round back to back.
Yeah, I knew it was coming at some point. I knew these mid laners. These are two players I've played against personally, both of them. I think they're incredibly talented, and we're gonna have a strong mid pool, I believe, in these games coming. So,
and small.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, strong mid pool indeed, and the snake coming back around. I really like Zaldratus. I mentioned it at the start. Very flexible, very great mentality, and you're partnering up now with. Oh my god, why can't I remember his picks? Crockett and Dingus Slayer is going to be a very strong duo, but the jungler not locked up, and your options are getting slimmer.
Yeah, jungle is one of the pools. We have a short amount of jungle mains in here, so I am curious where we're going to go with that. But again, we still didn't spend all of that much salary on that, so we still have room for even a big haymaker there too. I mean, I'm interested to see where we're going with this one. If we're gonna get that big haymaker, or are we playing around vibes over on this team? Who knows?
And the 13th pick is in for the Subway Pizza Rats, and I really wish I didn't have to see all this, but it's fine. It's okay. I have the leaks, of course, so I get to play pretend here. Needs more Mothra. I only have Mothra because his name doesn't fit in the damn box. Is the 13th pick here for Subway Pizza Rats, and it has taken me this long to realize that maybe the color that I chose for that font was not right. Let me just fix this.
Mothra, good pick here. I've played a lot of games with him myself. Played on a team together once. He's very much a guy that you can tell what to do, and he'll execute on that perfectly. If you want him to play aggressive, he'll play aggressive. If you want him to play the frontline tank, he'll play the frontline tank. He can just do it all. His Warwick, his Vi, very, very good picks. Can do a little bit of everything. I like playing with him. nice guy too. So this team's got good vibes from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and taking one last look, we're snaking back around, which means that the draft screen is back up when we can see exactly what these teams are looking at. Endless Noid, Captain Morgan's Lads, Tomahawk Mishaps. Coming up, it's Tanahawk. My bad, we did spell that wrong there. But Endless Noid up here, you can see Jungle, ADC, and mid lane locked up. But you've still got your role players. You still got your top and your support to go.
Yeah, one solo laner, one support. Support pool, I thought would be over by now, but we still do have some availability there. Top laners, though, we're kind of a little low on top laners. I'm a little surprised we didn't see anybody go. I still think there are a lot of talented top laners here, and I'm curious to see where we go with these drafts because honestly, what I thought would happen has not happened at all. So that makes it way more exciting for me.
Yeah, and top lane too, not necessarily like our heavy hitters that you're expecting with it. Yes, Spicy Potato did go off and is definitely helping Tomahawk Mishaps there just fix up their salary situation that they were in with Nithros. But Endless Noid, on the meantime, does have a little bit to play around. And with the 14th pick, as I just remember that I actually need to change all this stuff here. Give me 1 second. 14th pick for Endless Noid on the snake on the way back through is going to be Paladin Logan.
Yeah, Paladin Logan, that final support main we had available has gone off the board. Honestly, took longer than I thought it would. One of the great supports we have in here. I mean, all the supports we play with are like super talented and honestly probably could have been even earlier picks than what they were, but I think it really helps their team, gives them a negative cost player again. So maybe they're peeking out for like a heavy hitter right here at the end. So it adds a lot of potential to their draft.
Seems to be lining up that way, and Captain Morgan's Lads are the 15th pick here, and that pick is in Beeson. What do you got?
With that 15th pick, we're gonna pick Fluffy to be on our team. I absolutely thought this guy was the biggest steal ever. I am so high on him. I think he can carry. He can do literally everything you need from him, and I'm so excited to get to play with this guy. I heard only good things from everybody about him. So I think it's a great pick. A little biased, not gonna lie.
Might just be a little biased because he's on your team, but you know, it's all good. You could be happy that he's on your team, and I like Fluffy a lot too. I've seen him just punch way above you'd expect from maybe a player that, at least to my knowledge, a little bit maybe newer to scenes like this, to a draft league, to unknown players and unknown situations, and he's adapted really well. He's punching up with a lot of our better top laners or higher salary top laners, and I think that makes him very, very valuable. On top of that, another negative player, so Captain Morgan's Lads have more salary to work with here.
Yeah, I'm very curious where we're gonna go with this one. We can go anywhere at this point. But we got the final 2 picks for Tomahawk Mishaps coming up, and honestly, with this team, I'm curious where we're gonna go. We're gonna feel a lot of pieces here. We're gonna get to see where Fell goes. We're gonna get to see if Nitros is playing that AD carry role. He can play other roles. He's better at AD carry, so I'm assuming he'll go there. But it could have a nice change up in the brewing for us. It's just so exciting to figure out where everybody goes. And
with the 16th, holy, I wrote that down in the chat and I couldn't remember the number. I'm so good at this. 16th overall pick in the draft for the Tomahawk Mishaps is going to be, I didn't adjust the number. There we go. 16 is Genos.
One of my good friends, Genos. What a interesting guy to play with. Every time I play with him, I learn something new about him. Either he's just, honestly, he's so flexible at everything he does. I've seen him play mid lane. I've seen him play junglers. I've seen him play top laners. I've seen him play Akali's, Ornns, Renekton's, anything. He literally can do it all. I'm good friends with him. We've played on teams together. I think he's a valuable pick here. And honestly, he provides another carry role.
And I've also played on a team with him, and I do enjoy Genos. He's a great way to keep the vibes going. He's keeps it a little interesting at all times. He's opinionated enough too where you can actually use them for draft inputs. And sometimes there are players, especially around like the rank is at and the salary is at the 0 point, that might just not provide that for you, and it can make it a little bit harder to kind of succeed as a team and as a captain. So Genos, I think, is a very valuable pick. And on the snake around, we can actually take a quick little actually no, I'm just gonna do this one because it's already in the document anyway. 17th pick for the Tomahawk Mishaps, and their final pick rounding out their team, going to be a mid laner with come on, where's his name? I know I wrote it down because I double checked every single time that I wrote down his name. There it is. That's not the number. 17th overall pick, Redacted.
Yes, Redacted getting picked up. Interesting that they're gonna go with this roster here because it's got a lot of pieces that could change at any point in the season. They've got players that can play all sorts of different roles, so who knows where everybody's finally gonna be. Oh, but Redacted is a very talented player, very vocal, can play a lot of unique picks. I think is just quite a good value for this late in the draft. I would have thought he'd probably be gone by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to see where these players end up going on role-wise because they have so much flexibility on this team.
They do have a ton of flexibility in the team. And taking one look at that draft board, 3 picks left for all of these teams. So if we take a look at the situation for quite a few of these teams, Captain Morgan's Lad, they're in a deficit. They have salary to work with. Endless Noid, I believe, are just close to even. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. I think they're about 0.5 or 1 in that area. -1. Oh, -1. Damn. So all 3 teams left here have salary to work with. So they have these heavy hitters that you've been relying on this whole time. So who do you think's going to go for each team? Because just based on maybe their preferred roles and so on.
Well, we have to make a decision on our team here. Captain Morgan's Lads have to make a decision. Where are everybody going to play? Are we going to get a AD carry here? We got to get a mid laner. We have a lot of points to spend here, so we can go all over the place. I think Endless Noid really just needs a stable vibe guy right now to add to Gestrology Sable carries. I think if they can get somebody that can just hold down the fort, I think it's just going to be so beneficial for their team to have somebody that can play. Even a weak side player would be great to have with that dynamic duo in the jungle and mid lane. And then for the Subway Pizza Rats, that team has vibes for days. I cannot wait. I can't even predict where they're going to go because honestly, every time I try to, they just pick something else. I think it's unpredictable with them.
It's unpredictable with them, and going through like Captain Morgan. Okay, I skipped because I was reading. I'm sorry. 17th pick, because I cannot remember what number I typed down, and I think that means I messed up a number earlier. 17th pick in the draft as I go and find his name on this, because I, of course, typed it up and then completely forgot where I put it. There it is Tortuga. So a strong high blue was 18. I'm 19. Okay, cool. So I just have the numbers messed up. It's all good. There we go. Problem solved. Anyway, and honestly, a great player, and historically has been a very strong carry.
Yes, I love carries on my team because that means I don't have to carry. And I like when other people can carry for us. I think he's obviously a fantastic player. I got the pleasure, I think, once or twice to play versus him, and honestly, kind of gapped me when I played AD carry. So I'm really excited I don't have to go against him anymore. He gets to play with me. I think this team is obviously not biased in the slightest. One of the top teams, or if not the top team.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting.
We're gonna not rapid fire. Still gonna give them as much time as they deserve here. 19th pick in the draft for Endless Noid, and their final pick is going to be Ajima. I spelled that wrong. Ajima. Said it wrong. It's been a long day. I'm sorry. Ajima, Noid up.
Ajima, that player I was talking about that can play weak side carries, all that, they got him. This guy is just he's Urgot King carry, but he can also play some of those weak side champions as well that can allow this mid jungle duo to kind of take over. But I wouldn't sleep on his team fighting. Every time I've played versus him, he just absolutely is there where he needs to be. Does the right play always. Seems really really strong addition to their team that was already looking quite strong.
Yeah, and has experience too with Zabel on previous teams. So that's really important that you don't have to spend so long as your top jungle duo getting to know each other. Yes, I know these players have kind of memed around and kind of messed around a little bit about attention and so on and so forth. But hey, you don't have to work on any sort of chemistry. And I think that's going to allow Endless Noid to get off the block running. And I'm totally not biased as a Noid head myself. Totally not Noided at all. But of course, the final pick and Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, as the NFL so honestly called it, as I just completely forgot to set it up, which is good on me. Give me a moment. Last pick in the draft. And just a reminder, if you haven't been picked in the draft, it's okay. Get together, form a scrim team. There will be times to practice. And even better, you can then get better for these drafts. Maybe a captain saw something in you that just wasn't enough, and it's okay to work on it. No one hates you here, I swear. And in-houses will be still running and still functioning. Join up in those, get them going. Blue will be running the scrim team, so not only will they be doing their own captain stuff, they will be running the team separate, and teams will practice, I swear. But with the final pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant for your Season 0, Subway Pizza Rat selects Halcyon. There's that big hitter that you've been talking about.
Yeah, they had a lot of points to spend, so I was waiting on it, and they finally let him go at the end. Get that big hitter, that top tier carry. Honestly, there's not enough to say about this guy. He can play it all. I've seen him play so many different champions at this point that you never know what you're going to get from him, but he's top tier talent. One of the better higher elo players, at least in the league, I think. Just honestly, a great pick.
And we have some time here to actually talk to each of these captains. We're going to be starting off going in reverse order, so last pick gets to go first. So Mike, the Subway Pizza Rats, is up here in this draft. If he's here, I can see him in the chat, and he's unmuted. Fine, thank you. And hello, Mike. How do you feel this draft went?
I feel like it went really well. I got my Squirtle squad together with Master Splinter's Halcyon, a man, a Kennen main after my heart. I really like the vibes going into this team, so I'm very confident that they're going to be able to pull off a really good season. What was it? I haven't necessarily... I want to talk to them about the roles that they're playing, just to make sure everyone sort of gets to be in a place that at least they're comfortable with. I know there might be a little confusion with that, but I do have some ideas based on the sign-up sheets of who's willing to play what. But the best aspect of this team that I really like going into this season is that everyone will have a matchup at some point or another during the season where it's their turn to be the carry. So it's not just like a one-man show, it's everyone, you know?
I love that. So I've dubbed your team Mr. Vibe Team. And was that a big contributor to who you picked, the vibes of the team? Or was it more of you just kind of picked the best players you thought for value-wise?
Oh, I picked completely on vibes, but also just like, you know, they can, if win or lose, they're all just enjoying and having fun kind of thing. Because to me, I don't want those Sundays. If I pick poorly for whatever reason, I don't think I picked poorly, but if I did, at least they could all be able to go on to next week and be like, okay, whatever, we just vibing still, we're still in it. Because the thing is every team's going to make the playoffs anyway, so it's not a question of if, but when this team starts to become the force that I envisioned them to be.
Wow, that's just some big words coming from you there.
Yep.
Sounds like you're pretty happy with what you got here. Well, I'm excited to see your team pick. We're gonna head on over. Thanks for helping us out. We're gonna head on over to Miko.
Miko, Cat Hands, head of the Noids here, Endless Noid, picking up a solid team in my opinion. Hey Miko, or hey Cat Hands,
Hello.
depending on how you want it, how you want me to address you.
Both are good.
Both are good.
Miko's fine.
How'd the draft go? How do you feel you get it? How do you feel you did?
I got pretty much exactly the team I drew up. There were no whammies. really pretty much very accurately predicted what was going to happen. So I'm happy that I did not have to make hard decisions on the fly, but pleased with the results. I was worried about this going into it since I'm bad at League, and also I know players a little bit less than everyone else involved. So I had to rely on some info about everyone, but I think we've pulled together a strong squad, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to see them play.
Yeah, it's great to hear. I'm also looking forward to seeing them play, and maybe a little bit of a kind of concern, in my opinion, might be not necessarily the fact I talked about, like the chemistry of the mid jungle. Do you think there's going to be any issue, maybe with that attitude of like, he never ganks me, which was something that did crop up in the past, or do you feel like that's more of a joke and these players are just going to keep the vibes going?
I think that it's honestly going to work out. I think, especially given a few days, weeks to practice, everyone's going to get a feel for how they play and come to some understandings. And I think that's just going to work out well. I mean, I also talked to Sable since I was pretty sure I was getting him early and looking for him to sort of helm the team from that, like you said, he's got opinions and he's good at the game. And I talked to him about who he'd like to see on the team, and he's the one that suggested Jester in the mid lane himself. So I think he has confidence they can make it work as well.
Yeah. So when you talked to Sable about these picks that added onto your team, because you obviously decided he was your first pick, so you wanted to build the team around him. Did he mention Ajuma? I know they have some history together. Was that involved in your decision at all?
Pretty much. I had Sable and Hamilcar early because I knew I needed Hamilcar for the points, and I've been hearing great things about him. And the other three players were all from Sable's input.
Great to hear. Thank you.
Well,
thank you for your time. Yeah,
great to hear.
You do it.
Oh, all right. Well, after that, we're gonna go to arguably non-biased at all, the best team here. Captain Morgan's Lazim Blue will come on in. If we could talk to you, I think I'm so excited to talk to my captain here, guys. I'm gonna be a little biased.
That's okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So I actually got everybody I wanted except for one person. So I was super happy with how my team turned out.
That's good to hear. Here.
Yes. The original lineup I had was going to be exactly the same, except it would have been Major Crockett instead of Pride, and that would have had my salary at a flat 0. But then Crockett was stolen from me, and my heart was broken. But I've heard good things about Without Pride, and that he's a cool guy, and used to be real good when he did play, so I have high expectations for that guy.
You have high expectations from Without Pride, and does that kind of carry over to the rest of the team? Do you feel like you've got heavy hitters here? Because looking down the line, salary-wise, I feel like you're in such a good spot, and also player-wise, watching some of the in-houses, do you feel like you've got the players and the personnel ready to win, or is it still like, hey, we're still trying to figure things out, and it's okay with whatever happens?
I think as far as like individual skill, the 4 players I do know, they'll be just fine, and I think they'll be able to help Pride get back into the game, shake off any like mechanic rust, and kind of like be refamiliarized with like the map, especially with the new map, if he hasn't played since that change. So
yeah, I'm looking at this mid jungle duo you got here. I know your jungler has been known to disconnect from games. Was that in consideration when you picked them?
Yeah, it was definitely something I had to think about, but that's okay, because I have faith in him and my mid laner. My mid laner is like a goat, low key.
Whoa, that's a high praise for your mid laner. I think that person is feeling very happy that they have such an amazing captain to run them through this season.
I agree that like Fluffy, I was really surprised that he ended up falling where he did, because I was like, wow, you're technically negative. That's like super good for me.
Yes, I was excited to play with this guy. I was hoping when drafted me, I said fingers were crossed. That was one guy that I've heard only good things about, and I'm so excited to try to play with him.
That was another thing I was trying to think about too, because I know you and Kid Boo are like real close. Like, I feel like I know you guys pretty casually and nicely, but I know you guys are like buddies, so I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about those guys, like, you know, being out of pocket. And Fluffy's always cool. Like any group I see Fluffy in or he's around, like he just vibes with everybody. He's so non-problematic, and I think he's great. Tortuga I'm a little less familiar with, but I've always heard good things about him. I've never heard a bad thing about him, really.
And thank you for your time. Sounds like you've got high expectations for your team. Shooting to win, always good. But moving on, last and not least in our interviews here. Oh, he's deaf and he can't hear me. Never mind, he can hear me. Perfect.
I'm here.
Hello, Tim. Obviously,
Hello.
you got the pick. You got at least one of the players you wanted with that first overall pick. Did you still like purposely build around Nithros, or is there some other agenda going on here?
I kind of did, but I wanted to grab some other players, but they were taken early. But I still feel like I got a pretty good team with who I picked. I'm gonna see if Genos, like, he has his secondary as jungle, so I'm hoping that he still wants to play that and can do that pretty well. Spicy Potato is, like, from what I've seen, he did pretty well at top lane, and I think Fel and Nithros will do really well on bot lane.
So expectations high of your bot lane, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're probably the best bot lane in the league.
Well, that's a high praise coming from you. What makes these two better than the rest, you think?
Well, Nithros is, in my eyes, probably the best player in the league, and then Fel is just, like, a really good support when he played in Valhalla. So I see them doing pretty well in bot lane.
So high expectations of your bot lane, looking for maybe a little bit more playing around with your roles, but you had to kind of fill in that that salary gap that you had as you passed all the way into round 3 there, picking up that Spicy Potato. You said you have high opinions on Spicy Potato. Feel like elaborating here?
I saw him in one in-house, and he went up against KB Jelly, and he did actually really well. He has a pretty decent champion pool with Sion and Shen, and that's going to work really well when you have Nithros as a carry. You'll just have Spicy just sitting in front of him as like a big tanky boy, and I think he'll do pretty well. He plays a lot, so yeah.
All right, I got one final question here. With all the unique abilities you have to play different roles, are we planning on seeing maybe if one way doesn't work out, we're going to move roles around and see if we can find a way that works, or are we set in stone with the plan you have in forward right now?
Well, I think you do have a point with that. I know Spicy can also play mid. Genos can play mid, top of jungle. Redacted has swapped around a lot. Fel has swapped around. They all have swapped around a lot. So, like, yeah, anybody can go anywhere, but I'm going to have to talk to them and see where they all want to go, and we'll see.
So thank you for your time, Timberlin, captain of the Tomahawk or Tomahawk Mishaps, depending on where you're looking. We look forward to seeing you all play next week in your first games. When exactly are those games?
Actually, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now? Damn, 2 weeks from now. You know when the games are? I don't actually know.
It'll give them a whole extra week to practice, and it'll be at 4 p.m. for the first game and 7 p.m. for the second series.
Thank you for that. Tune in for those games, of course. Beeson, any last notes before you run off and maybe go talk to your team?
I think all these teams are super strong. We have a great mix of players here. One team might be better than the rest. I'm just saying. I don't know which team that will be, but one team might be slightly better than the rest. But I think we have quite an even state for the most part. And I think each team has their own unique ability to carry in different ways that I think will be refreshing to watch.
Mm-hmm. Refreshing gameplay streams all happening on the 8th here. So a thank you to Beeson for being out here. I definitely can't hear me anymore. Lol, he doesn't know that. But thank you for being here. Thank you, the captains, for showing up in live and making sure they were here on time. Thank you, everyone, for being a little bit patient with the slight delay. And I hope everyone is excited to play with their captains. But with that, Gaming Tavern is closed for now. We'll see you all in 2 weeks with week 1 and the first game, Subway Pizza Rats versus Endless Noid at 3 p.m. EST, I believe, GMT 05. You can figure out what that is on your own time. And game 2 that night is the Tomahawk Mishaps versus Captain Morgan's Lads. We'll see you there. Not gonna lie, this didn't work. I wanted it to do this fun thing here, where I had all the team logos like this, and then I messed it up and forgot to hit it. All right, we're gonna do this anyway.